Hey everyone, today we're going to be checking out the 28-liter Aion backpack from Thule. And this is one of the bags that's been requested quite a few times in the comments of previous videos. I've always been a fan of Thule's bags. I feel like they offer a really great value and quality for the prices that they come in at, and they also have an impressive variety of bags. And so very excited to finally have a chance to get hands-on with this one. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about what it's been like to use it. I'll show you how I've loaded it out, walk through all the features, and I'll also talk about how it compares to some of the other similar bags that are currently on the market. Before jumping into the video, if you're new here, welcome. My name is Danny, and on this channel, we love reviewing popular travel and everyday carry gear. If you like these types of videos and you'd be interested in seeing more, please consider subscribing as it helps the channel out a lot. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and jump in. Starting off with the overall aesthetic, to me this has a pretty interesting appearance. For the most part, it feels like kind of a modern techie bag that's in line with Thule's typical style, but it has these handles at the top that give it a unique look that I'm honestly not too crazy about. I know that everybody's gonna have different preferences on the style of bag, and they do have a functional purpose, I suppose, but it really kind of threw off the whole visual style of the bag for me personally. Regardless, it feels like something that's gonna, blend in well into a lot of different environments if you wanna travel with it, if you wanna take it into the office, or just use it for exploring a city. As far as the materials, like Thule's other bags, this feels solidly built. The exterior fabric is a wax polyester canvas, which is pretty interesting. I hadn't seen something like this from Thule before, so it feels rugged. It's gonna offer a nice amount of weather resistance, and you also have, just really nice hardware all throughout, good webbing on the handles, and very smooth working YKK zippers. Continuing along the outside of the bag, I was happy to see that you do have an external water bottle pocket. This is going to offer a nice amount of capacity. Here I have my 20-ounce water bottle, which is the one that I use most regularly, and you can see that that fits in there with leftover space. I was also able to fit my 26-ounce Yeti Rambler, and this does stick out a little bit more from the side than I'm used to with some of these pockets, but it does have the elasticity that helps pull it a little bit closer to the bag. Then you have a great side handle here with a durable material, plenty of space so that you can grab it and pick it up. At the top, you have these handles that I was mentioning earlier, and in general, I'm not crazy about bags that have this sort of style. I just don't use it very much. It feels like something extra, and I'm not really sure what the value is of having both of these handles like this. I suppose you could hang it in a couple of different ways. You can pick it up more easily. I'm curious to hear in the comments what you all see as the functional use of these handles that maybe I'm missing, but it's just not something that I'm using too regularly. So, they get the job done. They do feel durable, but I would have preferred to have at least removed this front one. And speaking of the front, you do have some attachment points here that are hidden to maintain a cleaner look with the bag, and so you can clip on carabiners and bike lights, other accessories to the outside. You have the Thule logo on the front, and then I believe this is meant to be compatible with a sling bag that is sold as part of the collection. It's sold separately. I didn't have a chance to check that out. And then the last thing I'll mention while we're talking about the exterior is how the bag stands on its own. This has been somewhat inconsistent. I have noticed that the bag can tend to lean forward, so I've mostly rested it against the chair or the table or the wall whenever I wanted to access the pockets. Moving into the capacity, the bag comes in at about 28 liters, which to me is a pretty versatile size. It's a little bit of a larger day-to-day bag, but it's gonna give you some extra space for longer days, or if you have to carry some extra stuff. Can also work well for minimal travel, and I like that the bag doesn't look overwhelmingly big when it's packed out. It's not the slimmest, but I feel like the silhouette that it offers just is a pretty sleek profile. And then it also has the ability to expand out to 32 liters when you need some extra capacity. So that's a great carry-on friendly size. You can place it in an overhead storage compartment. As a personal item, when it's compressed down, I think that you could probably use it on some of the less strict airlines, particularly domestically, but this is a little bit taller and larger, so internationally I think that it can be a little riskier. Regardless, I think that this is gonna be a size that's still very versatile, and it's gonna work well for, walking around the city and jumping out of public transit. Continuing with the harness system, so far the bag has been really comfortable to wear. I like how the straps have been implemented here. They have a nice amount of padding, breathable material on the inside. They have a pretty good width to help prevent the bag from digging into your shoulders when it's a little bit more packed out. You have an adjustable and removable sternum strap, And then on the back panel, you have a nice amount of padding as well. This one's a little more robust, which I like. It's well distributed. You have a good bit of elevation here to create this air channel to provide you with plenty of ventilation while you're walking around. And you also have a really nice luggage pass-through that's going to allow you to rest this on your suitcase while traveling to save some weight on your shoulders. And also it's going to make it easy to access your laptop because of the orientation. Jumping into the organizational options, you have kind of a quick access / admin pocket on the front. You have the dual zipper pulls here and a good amount of space. This compartment goes down about this distance here, so almost to the middle of the bag, and you have some space here in the middle of this section that you can use to rest some items that don't necessarily fit into the slot. So I have a packable tote bag here, I have my headlamp, and then I tucked my sunglasses with their case down near the bottom. And then you have some organization on the back. So you have kind of a padded pocket here. It's a little padded. You have a nice material, great for a phone, a portable hard drive. I just have my mouse in there at the moment. Then you have a couple of slots for a pen, a stylus. You have a little lanyard with a clip for your keys, a couple more slip pockets where I have a portable battery. On the back, this one here would be great for holding something like a Kindle or a smaller notebook. And then you have a zipper pocket on the lid. That is going to be a great spot for tech accessories. Here I have a charging cable and I have my AirPods. On the back, you have a smaller and more hidden zippered pocket that's going to be a good spot for something more delicate. Here I have a Field Notes notebook, but this would be a great spot for something like a passport, some extra cash, or a wallet. Also on the back, you have a dedicated laptop compartment. This is lockable and it opens up fully flat to give you plenty of visibility into this compartment. And so on the back here, you have a zippered mesh pocket that has a good amount of volume. This will be a great spot for tech accessories like the charging cables and USB-C hub that I have there at the moment. And then you have a dedicated tablet sleeve and laptop sleeve. And I like that you actually have separate sleeves and that the tablet sleeve is treated like, a padded protective sleeve, not just a simple slip pocket. You can see how thick that is there. Now, one thing that I did notice about these is that they're not suspended off the bottom of the ground. There is some padding here, so there's protection, but it's not the same as when you have a false bottom, which I prefer to see. And this is going to offer enough space for a 10 or 11-inch tablet. Here I have my iPad mini, which fits very easily. And then behind that, you have more than enough space for a 15 or 16-inch laptop. Here I have a 14-inch MacBook Pro, but you can see that this is kind of swallowed up by the compartment. Very easy to get it out when you need to. And now with the compartment empty, you can get a better look at the inside. This comes up a decent amount, so if you happen to have a thicker device or you want to use a case with your laptop, it should be able to handle that. On the other side, you have a really interesting zippered pocket here. This has kind of a tarpaulin-like or plasticky material that's going to be great for storing maybe some liquids if you want to put your toiletries, or if you have some dirty or wet clothing. It's going to keep everything separate from the rest of the items in your tech compartment and the main area. And so I didn't really use that too much because I didn't want to cause space issues for the two compartments that I was using. And one thing that's also interesting about this is that this is a divider that you can open up. So if you have this open so that you can access your tech, you can open this section and provide full clamshell access to the main compartment if you want to. And I'll take a closer look at this in a second because this is also a top loading compartment, so I want to show it from both sides. But great that you have this ability to kind of treat this like more of a traditional travel bag. And then you also have the ability to roll this up. If you just want to treat this as a bag that has one compartment, you have a slot so that you can tuck it away here, and this snap closure to kind of just secure it down when you don't want to use it. And so, this works pretty well. With these types of systems, you do still end up with this space taken up on the bottom by the divider. So I'm not always crazy about that, but I suppose it's good that you can at least manage it if you don't want to have that. That's kind of how it works. And so I'll open it up for now and keep these as separate compartments. And moving to the other side, this main compartment has a top loading layout. So if you're accessing it from here, you can reach in and grab items versus the clamshell nature on the other side. Diving into the items that I have in here at the moment, near the top I have my packable rain jacket, then I have my Beat Studio headphones, a Lockbee tech pouch, I also have the Evergood Civic Access pouch, 1/2 liter, And then here you can get a look at how much this opens up if you're accessing it from the front. And I have the Civic Access Pouch 1 liter and the Civic Access Pouch 2 liters. The last thing I have in here at the bottom is the Alpaca Admin Pouch. So you can hold quite a bit in this bag with the 28-liter capacity, but you, as I mentioned earlier, can expand this out to 32 liters. It has the zipper that pops this section up, allowing you to really transform this into a capable travel backpack. So with that expanded capacity, I would easily be able to store my Peak Design compressible packing cube, my dop kit, an extra pair of shoes, even a little bit more, and then I'd be able to use this for a longer weekend trip or maybe even up to a week of travel comfortably. So definitely a lot of interesting functionality here. I can definitely see why this has become a popular bag, and although the aesthetic isn't really my favorite, I think that this is going to be a really solid option if you're somebody who's looking for kind of an all-purpose bag that's going to offer plenty of durability, comfort, and a flexible capacity. And so to wrap up, it's been a pretty good experience testing out the 28-liter Aion backpack from Thule. You can currently purchase this on the company's site or sites like Amazon and REI for about $190. I've seen the price jump around a little bit, but that seems to be kind of the standard price, and it's definitely an investment, but it does feel like you're getting something that's going to be solidly built, offer a nice feature set, and that's also going to compare well against some of the other similar bags that are in this price range. And so as I was testing this out, one of the first bags this made me think of is the Osprey Daylight 26+6 Expandable Backpack, which has been one of my favorite minimal travel and personal item bags that has come out over the past year. Just really solidly built for the price that it comes in at. Great feature set. I like that at the 26-liter size, it slides comfortably under the seat of an airplane. It can work for your day-to-day usage, and then it can expand to give you some extra capacity for traveling. And then, it's got a pretty nice layout, a suspended laptop sleeve, comfortable harness system, and so, just really offers a well-rounded feature set. And if you're looking for something that's going to offer an expandable layout and, that's going to work on a lot of different situations, and that's going to be an excellent option to consider. Another bag this made me think of is the Firo T22 backpack, which I also featured recently on the channel. That one, like this one, has a fairly distinct aesthetic. It's got an interesting design. It's solidly built. It's going to offer a nice amount of weather resistance, comfortable harness, great laptop protection on that one, and then you have the ability to expand, so it comes in at 22 liters when it's compressed, and it can go up to 26 liters to give you some extra capacity. And then, it's got a really interesting layout with the hatch functionality on the front. And then you have a spacious main area, and they have an interesting water bottle system where you can add or remove the water bottles if you don't want to use them. And so, it's just an interesting newer option. And if you want to check out another great expandable tech-focused bag, then that's going to be a great one to keep in mind. And then the last option that I'll mention here is the Able Carry Max EDC, which is really solidly built. The X-Pack fabric is durable and is also going to offer a lot of weather resistance. It's got a super comfortable harness system at 26 liters. It works well for your day-to-day. It's a little bit larger, but it'll give you that extra capacity. I've used it as a personal item. Great minimal travel bag. It's got a clamshell style layout. The front compartment can expand to give you some extra capacity. And then you have great laptop protection, some nice quick access pockets, and just a really cool kind of modern techie aesthetic. And so if you're looking for something that's gonna offer plenty of durability and it's just gonna be a really versatile bag, then that's gonna be one of the best options that you can take a look at. With that being said, the Thule Aion backpack holds up pretty well against all those options. Although the aesthetic on this one isn't my favorite, and I do wish that the laptop compartment was suspended, this does have a really well-rounded feature set. And if you're looking for something that's well built, that's going to be comfortable and give you a flexible capacity, then this is going to be a really interesting option to consider. And I'm definitely curious to hear what you all think of the Aion backpack and how it compares to some of the other popular tech and EDC bags that are currently on the market. And if there's any similar options that you think that I should check out, as always, please let me know in the comments. And I want to thank you for watching and supporting the channel. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like, and if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any upcoming videos, and we'll see you in the next one.